Hello again, Year 6, and welcome to your Year 6 English lesson, Lesson 2. As always, you need your pen or pencil, you need your home learning book and some paper to write on. You will also need your planning from yesterday's lesson. Your task this week is to write a persuasive letter to Michael's parents from Michael's head teacher. We want to tell Michael's parents what we think about their plans to sail around the world. We will focus on formality and tone. A persuasive letter will be inspired by the events from our class text, Kensuke's Kingdom. Each day we will build up these ideas ready for that extended writing on Friday. Pause the video and write down our purpose and our audience for this week's writing. Our purpose is to persuade, and our audience, Michael's parents. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I would like to begin by thanking you for your astonishing letter informing us of your intentions to remove your son Michael from Larkrise School and take him on an extensive trip around the world. I think I speak on behalf of all the staff and children of the school when I say he will be greatly missed and we wish you luck on your impending trip. Whilst we always support the decisions parents make in regards to their children's well-being, I would like to take a few moments to ensure that you have fully considered the consequences of your decision to remove your child from formal education and embark on an unplanned voyage around the world. I will begin by discussing what I believe is the key consideration to make before you set sail. This consideration, which I refer to, is the safety of your child. Have you fully considered the risk involved in sailing an extravagant yacht to the four corners of the globe? Michael has informed me that you have had some experience with sailing, but I wonder if manning a sailboat on the open seas is the same as mucking around on a reservoir in a small dinghy. If the unthinkable were to happen, and your yacht were to capsize, will you be equipped to tackle such a catastrophe? So this is the opening to our letter, just the first 3 paragraphs, where we set the tone, we explain why we're writing, and we give our first important point as to why we do not believe that they should go sailing. But what feature's been highlighted specifically in red for this opening to our persuasive letter? What is the impact of that highlighted feature? Pause the video and answer those 2 questions. Highlighted are specifically words used for formality, formal choices which set a serious tone for our letter. Today we're going to use the features of a formal persuasive letter. This is just the opening for our example for this week. We're going to choose words for their formal. We are the author, but we are pretending that we're Michael's head teacher. Our audience will be Michael's parents. Because we understand the relationship of a head teacher to the parents of the school, we know the formality that we want to use when we're writing. What is a formal letter? A formal letter has an official purpose. It contains language choices which set a serious tone. It avoids chatty language. A formal letter is usually written to someone we do not know well. So if the author is Michael's head teacher and the audience Michael's parents, we'll have a really good idea of that serious tone, that it's an official letter, and that Michael's head teacher will not know Michael's parents very well, so we'll avoid any chatty language. When do we use formal language? When we want to speak for an official purpose. When we want to be taken seriously. When we speak to someone we do not know well. What formal feature is being used here and how do you know? I would like to begin by thanking you for your astonishing letter informing us of your intentions to remove your son Michael from Larkrise Primary School and take him on an extensive trip around the world. Pause your video and have a think about which feature has been highlighted. Vocabulary choice. The words chosen have been chosen specifically for their formal, serious tone. Pause the video and copy down any of these examples that you want to use in your own work. Let's have a look at another example. What formal feature is being used here? How do you know? I will begin by discussing what I believe is the key consideration to make before you set sail. This consideration, which I refer to, is the safety of your child. Pause the video and see if you can figure out which feature has been highlighted. The feature highlighted is sentence structure. First example here is parenthesis to clarify. A pair of dashes has been used to embed some extra information. I've used a relative clause here. Again, it's embedded to add extra information. Pause the video and copy down any examples that you might want to use in your own work. Let's have a look at another example of formal language. What formal feature is being used here? How do you know? If the unthinkable were to happen and your yacht were to capsize, will you be equipped to tackle such a catastrophe? Pause the video and see if you can figure out what feature has been used and highlighted in green. It's the subjunctive mood. Well done if you remembered that one. Pause the video and copy down these two examples of subjunctive mood if you would like to use them in your own writing. Okay, let's look a little bit closer at subjunctive mood. It's been quite a long time since we've had a go at this. I wish I were better at remembering subjunctive mood. I wonder if there is a way to remember subjunctive mood. If I were you, I would find a way to remember subjunctive mood. Highlighted in green are phrases you can use if you want to set the subjunctive mood. But what does it mean? Subjunctive mood is used to explore a hypothetical situation or express a wish, a demand, or a suggestion. I wish I were. I wonder if I were you. These are examples of phrases you can use to set a subjunctive mood. We use them when we want to speak quite formally. These are some examples of the subjunctive mood where it's used as a hypothetical situation or to express a wish, a demand, or a suggestion. I wish I were better at remembering subjunctive mood. I wonder if there's a way to remember subjunctive mood. If I were you, I would find a way of remembering subjunctive mood. You might want to pause the video and write down the definition of subjunctive mood, and maybe these starters as well to help you. So let's see if the subjunctive mood has been used in this formal writing. I wonder if you had taken the time to fully consider the consequences. I want to know if you are going to continue your plans to sail across the globe. If I were you, I would ensure that I had all the skills required to make such an adventurous voyage. Remember, subjunctive mood sets that hypothetical situation, that wish or demand or suggestion. Pause the video and have a go if you can spot any subjunctive mood. Let's have a closer look. Did you spot it in the first one? I wonder if. That's called a hypothetical. It's not happened. We're just imagining it. Did you spot it in the third one? If I were you, and it's giving a suggestion. The second example isn't an example of subjunctive mood, though it includes the word if hasn't been used for the subjunctive mood. Great job if you spotted those two. Pause the video and copy down any examples you might like to use in your own writing. When do we use formal language? When we want to speak for an official purpose. When we want to be taken seriously. When we speak to someone who we do not know well. So we're going to be Michael's head teacher writing to Michael's parents. Now I'd like you to have a look at my example again. I've numbered some examples of formal language. I'd like you to have a close look at them and see if you can work out what different types of formal language features have been highlighted on your board. Pause the video and have a go. So let's have a close look at these numbered features. Number 1, I've specifically highlighted vocabulary choice, words chosen for their formality, intentions, greatly, key. For number 2, I've actually underlined rhetorical questions. Have you fully considered the risks involved in sailing an extravagant yacht to the four corners of the globe? It's a question used, but it's actually giving a statement. It's actually showing a point of view, not really asking a question. Well done if you spotted the subjunctive mood, if the unthinkable were to happen. And well done if you noticed number 4 was highlighting parenthesis to clarify. Great job if you were that specific. Pause the video and copy down any features which you might want to use yourself. So we're going to use the features of a formal persuasive letter. We're writing as the head teacher of Michael's school. We're writing to Michael's parents. We want to tell them our thoughts about their journey. So let's put these phrases in order, but I'd like you to start with the least formal. Pause the video and have a go. Okay, let's have a closer look. The least formal, I thought, was this one, number 1. This is a crazy idea. It's far too chatty to go into a letter from a head teacher. Second, I've put this one. I'd have to call this idea a little bit ludicrous. Because it's got that contraction "I'd", and it also has that phrase little bit, it's not very formal. Although I do quite like the use of the word ludicrous, but I wonder if a head teacher would use it in their formal letter. In third place, I put this one. This is a preposterous idea. I like the formal word choice, but I wonder if it could have more formal features used. Getting more formal now for number 4. I think that the idea should be considered a little bit more. I like the use of I think. I like the use of should be considered, but maybe the use of little more might not be formal enough. This one is the most formal example. The idea of which you are referring to is unwise. I like the use of this embedded clause. I like the fact that it's relative as well, a relative clause, and I like the use of unwise. Very specific formal language choices. You might want to pause the video and copy down any examples of formal language which you like the sound of to use in your own writing. So which sentence is more engaging for the reader? I will start by talking about what I think is the main consideration to make before you travel. I will begin by discussing what I believe is the key consideration to make before you set sail. Pause your video and have a look closely at which one might be more engaging. Let's see what we came up with. So I can see the use of the word start, talking about, think. These words are starting to sound maybe a little bit informal. Consideration, travel. Let's have a look at the second example. Begin, believe, key, consideration, set sail. examples of formal language. The second example is a little bit more formal. It really sets the tone and it looks like it should be taken more seriously. Pause the video and copy down any examples you'd like to use in your own writing. So let's have a look at which sentence is more engaging. If the unthinkable were to happen and your yacht were to capsize, will you be equipped to tackle such a catastrophe? What if your yacht capsizes? Will you be able to handle a catastrophe like that? Pause the video and have a look at which one might be more engaging to the reader. So our first example has words like unthinkable, were to happen, equipped to tackle, and such a catastrophe. All the choices here seem very formal. Let's have a look at the second example. What if, handle. Pause the video and copy down any phrases or words which you think are more formal. Okay, time to help me improve my writing. Have I included the formal features we've been looking at today? Here's my example. I'd like to start by thanking you for your letter telling us that you want to remove your son Michael from Larkrise School and take him on a trip around the world. We will miss him and we hope that you have fun sailing around the world. Now it's your turn to edit and refine my work. Let's make it more formal. So here's my example again with my edits. I would like to change these words or phrases to make them more formal. Here's my final piece of writing. I would like to begin by thanking you for your astonishing letter informing us of your intentions to remove your son Michael from Larkrise School and take him on an extensive trip around the world. I think I speak on behalf of all the staff and children of the school when I say he will be greatly missed and we wish you all the luck on your impending trip. Have you noticed how I've chosen my words so that they are more formal? I've also thrown in some expanded noun phrases, but I've chosen adjectives which are formal when I'm doing my writing. My second example here with all my edits sounds really formal, very serious, and just like a letter from a head teacher. Pause your video and copy down any examples you want to use for your writing. Alright, Year 6, now it's your turn. Your task is to write the opening paragraphs of your persuasive letter. You are the head teacher, writing to Michael's parents, explaining to them why they should rethink their plans to set sail around the world. You have your plan and the table we made yesterday, so use it to help you plan your letter out. Remember, we only want to write the first few opening paragraphs, so set the tone, explain why you're writing, and maybe begin to think about your first point. If you're ready to start writing your opening paragraphs, you can pause the video now and start writing, and I look forward to reading your work. If you'd like a little bit more support, stick with the video. We're going to go through the example one more time, and then I'm going to give you a short task on formality. So let's have another look at my example. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I would like to begin by thanking you for your astonishing letter informing us of your intentions to remove your son Michael from Larkrise School and take him on an extensive trip around the world. I think I speak on behalf of all the staff and children of the school when I say he will be greatly missed and we wish you luck on your impending trip. Whilst we support the decisions parents make in regard to their child's well-being, I would like to take a few moments to ensure that you fully consider the consequences of your decision to remove your child from formal education and embark on an unplanned voyage around the world. I will begin by discussing what I believe is the key consideration to make before you set sail. Okay, let's stop there with the example, because really what we want are those opening paragraphs which set that formality and that tone. So we want to tell Michael's parents why we're writing. We want to use nice formal tone. So if you're ready, you could begin writing now. You might want to keep this on your screen while you're writing. Remember, you can borrow any of my examples, but it's really great to do the writing by yourself. If you'd like a little bit more support, stick with the video, and we've got one more formal task to have a go before we start the writing for the letter. Okay, let's have a look at some of these examples to turn ideas into formal language. So I might think something like, I want you to know. So I'll think that in my head. But when I write it down in my book, I just want to choose more formal language. I am writing to inform you becomes more formal. I might think in my head, I think you are making a bad choice. But what I write in my book, it is my belief that your decision is incorrect. So I'm just changing a few of the words for their formality. I might think in my head, I think you should. But when I write it in my book, I might try to use the subjunctive. If I were you, I may consider. And I just choose my words for their formal effect on the reader. So here are some examples that you might want to keep. And you might want to have a go at this task. 3 examples that I would like you to try and make more formal. You can use the table above to help you. You can use the notes you've made through the video. When you're ready, you can stop the video and you can have a go at these tasks. Great job, Year 6.